Hey guys, welcome back to Trekyards. I'm Captain Foley.
I am Quantal Coggins.
That's right, we're here to talk about things today. Ships and things.
Stuart,
Yes,
you tried to mess up your hair. Why'd you try to mess up your hair?
because I gotta get in the spirit for what we're talking about today. We're talking about the Kazon Raider.
It's been
And you know, the Kazon have the best hairstyles in the Delta Quadrant at the very least. Maybe the galaxy.
the best you've ever looked in your entire life. Hey, Draco's been gone a long time now. We've never done the Kazon ships, thanks to a video game who had official assets, licensed assets. I mean, we were able to get some stuff. So now we can do all those fun renders and scales and things. But Stuart, let's go back to 1995. Voyager, the one with the sexy ship, done by Rick Sternberg, and the Kazon appear. And we've talked to Michael Westmore about the Kazon. That was a really cool interview. About their trying, not Klingons, but they're sort of Klingons. They're the Voyager Klingons, but not really Klingons. But what was your sort of 1995 first thoughts about this ship? And we will look at the big carrier as well, but we look at the Raider today. What are your thoughts on the ship?
I don't even remember my thoughts about the Kazon Raider ship. I mean, I have a model of it that I need to build at some point if I ever want to. It's one of those ships that you always find in the bulk bin, the bargain bin. For model shows and stuff. It's great for using parts for kit bashing, but who wants to build the ship? I mean, it's a weird design for sure. It almost looks like it's a design for a weapon of some sort, like a handgun, a hand weapon. Got like a handle on the front. You could like have the resting on your arm. It's just got that kind of look. Never really thought about it, to be honest. And it's just not something that's memorable in my opinion.
Even though you already said it's an unusual design.
It's a very unusual design.
So you would think that would lead to memorability. But is that also just the Kazon themselves being weirdly less memorable than they should be? I mean, they have a certain presence and they have many stories, and yet...
Yeah, I think it was the overall Kazon vibe that they eventually moved away from, that you kind of just relegate it to back in the dusty attic of your brain. You just, oh yeah, they were a thing. But I don't know, they never had that presence, that gravitas that made me care.
I'm sure people are starting to comment right now. Technically, they're a Trabe design. All the ships are Trabe, and then the Kazon, who are the slaves of the Trabe, then killed them and took the ships. So technically, but guys, you know them as the Kazon Raider. And they didn't have that invented when they invented the ship. So let's not give them credit for that. It's a Kazon ship. So my thoughts are, I have a little soft spot for it in that it's so different. And I get what he's going for, but something about it doesn't work. Also, this isn't the most high quality model, and we'll look at the miniature in a minute. Well, actually, let's cut straight to miniature. There's a lot of good detail in the miniature. It doesn't quite work, even though it kind of should. I don't know if it's not balanced, or if the color palette's too dull, or if it needs something else.
The windows are a weird scale, I guess, because I think this is a fairly big ship. The windows seem off. You got a Delta hidden right there, right in plain view. And it feels like a cobbled together ship,
which is sort of part of the vibe.
I mean the front nose cone element and those windows looks like it was taken off a space shuttle. I mean, there's weird shapes in here that the more you look at it, you're like, oh, okay.
Okay, I'll say something radical though. If they removed the weird front spine protrusion, would it be better?
No, I don't think it would, actually.
So I'm trying to picture it. I mean, I guess I'll do a Photoshop. There you go. There's it without it. But it feels. I'm picturing it feels more cohesive, like a more come together. Because what is that? What is that thing meant to be? You know what I mean? It's a dynamic element, but what is it? There's nothing there. It doesn't feel like it means nothing. And so you're left wondering, well, what? Why? Huh? So if you didn't have that, it might feel more flowing, a bit fatter, obviously, but...
I mean, it would feel like a generic ship of the week transport without that. That at least gives it something, and I think it's trying to be reminiscent of like this. Like the pharaohs always had the beard, the chin piece. It was usually artificial, but it gives it something that's unique. That's the one thing about this ship that when I think Kazon, that's what I think.
Because I quite like the wings. I quite like how they're done. If you maybe add a third wing on the top, maybe it needs more glows. It needs more of a maybe some visible weapons. It needs to be taken and given a bit more of a oomph. It has no oomph. Is that fair to say? But let's look at the visual concept by Dan Curry, who was right there doing amazing stuff. He didn't design the most ships. Rick took over. What do you think? Because this doesn't... I don't know.
To me, it doesn't say Star Trek, but that's fine because we're in the Delta Quadrant. A whole different level of tech, whole different, things we hadn't seen before. So I know what they were going for, especially from this concept. It's like there's nothing there. There's no interesting shapes there to me. This is like a video game ship that you get dropped off at the beginning of the level and you never see again.
I think the miniature is much nicer than this. I think the bulking it out, the extra wings. I mean, this is far too simple. Maybe if it had 2 fins at the back that were just as long as the front fin, like give it this big oomph, and then maybe at the bottom have like a set of greeblies, maybe some glows, maybe like a hangar bay. So it's a raider. Maybe if it had three fins, as it comes up, it can take shuttles and bring it in and kill the crew and steal the stuff, kind of like a pirate vibe. That could have been kind of interesting, like a very distinct hangar bay. But yeah, it's certainly you see the same concept, but it's not realised very well here. So let's talk about scale. I've used the Eaglemoss scale, which is based on production things out. Often they get the scales wrong. They use one version where it should be another version, but this is what we have to go on. So what do you think the scale is based on what you remember from Voyager? Obviously comparing to Voyager. What do you sort of remember? Technically, there are a few weird like scale anomalies, but because sometimes they're a little bit smaller and bigger, and because they have more miniatures, they use them as a fighter. But what do you think of when you think of Kazon Raider scale wise?
I think the General Raider is about half the size of Voyager, because I know their technology is not as advanced.
Ooh.
And
that was like the entire plot point.
yeah. But I always got the sense it was like half the size of Voyager, which Voyager's not very big in herself. So
we'll take a look. Dum, as it were. Well done.
Not quite half the size, a little bit smaller, but
pretty close. I thought this was a really weird but fun comparison. You throw a bird of prey, a classic Burrell. Pretty. I mean, this is a tiny ship, and they run about on a Type 9. It's not a big ship actually when you even put it next to other things. And like I said, they do size discrepancy, but this is the default scale meant to be. I mean, you see it fight against the Type 9. It feels a lot bigger, smaller than this. Sorry. But this is kind of what they say it is, with a pinch of salt that is. But any thoughts on this?
Surprising, actually. It seems a lot smaller than I would imagine, even though I guessed half the size. It still feels...
I kind of like it. It makes sense. As like they're not an advanced people. This is an average, very average ship. It's not particularly powerful. It's not particularly whatever. They have strength in numbers. It's maneuverable more than anything else. That's kind of the vibe. But it's kind of fun to sit next to like a Nova. It's like, oh yeah, if the Nova had fought them, if the Equinox had fought them, would have had a less good day, I think. But I do think, though, the side of you're going to feel slightly differently.
Again, I know this is a game model, but the size of the windows are ridiculously, preposterously huge for when you compare them to the ones on Voyager. Anyway, it does feel better from the side to me, and I'm glad. Like I said, I'm still glad they have that front piece. I like the front piece.
But it is pretty big compared to Voyager. It is. Although you say the windows are out of scale, but if you compare them to the crew quarters windows, they're about the same size. So they're just the large windows of a crew quarter windows. But let's confuse the audience now. Next picture is from Caretaker, and this is how they presented one of the shots. Like I said, size discrepancy in Eaglemoss is not always the best at this. I'm guessing they got the number from Dan Curry himself, and he said that's his intended scale. But even looking at the sketch he did, it was a fighter sized. And there are fighter versions. Is for example the Nog, the Aaron Eisenberg comes in as a Kazon, and it's a fighter. It's the same exact miniature, but much smaller. So there are variations of the exact same thing.
Yeah, well, this size makes those window sizes feel better. But it's just the game model, so it is what it is.
The next view is the back view.
I kind of like the color palette. I like the brown with the orange. I think that's really nice. It's kind of like a take on both the Ferengi and the Cardassians, which they kind of have characteristics of each, to be honest. So I don't know if they were like deliberately going for that kind of same color palette type feel, but I do like the brown and the orange. I think that looks really good together. But this is such a non-ship.
Like, it does feel like stuff's bolted on, but it kind of comes together like, okay, there's some interesting shapes. I'm guessing the the wings of the Impulse and the things on the main hull of the warp somethings. I don't think we ever saw in the show it like turn and go to warp, and this was a miniature. They had to pick and choose what they wanted, and you never really got the most sense they really put a lot of money and time into those miniature shots of the Kazon, except when basics, where they really like committed. But the next view though is the bottom view, and suddenly loads more detail. They put lots of greeblies in, even more 3D. There is a fin apparently at the back, but not fin enough. Let me take you to the front view though.
Based on the concept art, it looks like a landing strut, the main front landing strut, and the other ones maybe the fins were meant to fold down by the looks of the concept anyway. So with it being a smaller ship than Voyager can land. I have no issue with that being like a main support strut for landing, but it's never really explained. So,
although looking at it now, it looks like those BB gun loaders that are exactly that shape with the spring. It's exactly that shape. I mean, although this is funny, the back wings are clearly cardboard. This is a study model, isn't it? Oh yeah, this is a wood study model. Wow, the detail. I mean, they certainly knew what they were going for when they built the study miniature. Wow.
And this feels more substantial, especially in the back end than the model.
Yeah, the wings had to be bigger, didn't they?
Yeah. Then this feels more interesting to me than what we were just looking at.
Isn't that ridiculous?
Yeah, absolutely it is.
But they feel bigger. Yeah, they feel more swept back as well, maybe. A bit more momentum.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but something about this model looks better than...
Next picture, though, is back to a model kit, I believe. Some nice greeblies. I like their placement for greeblies.
This feels like something from another franchise, especially with that, what looks like a cockpit at the front now. With the way that's painted.
Oh, yeah, well, it's Nebulon T Freighter, isn't it, almost? Star Wars. If you paint it more of a white other thing.
Kind of. Looks like an iguana. It's got 4 feet. It's got the black eye where the head is, and then the big frilly neck thing.
You know what I don't like? I don't like the fact that the back 2 fins are so effing square. It's bothered me in every single image. I don't know if it's just a 3D model, but why not have them like nice, smoother, sleeker fins that go out way further? We've always seen a version that look better like that. Because they're so stubby here. They're so stubby. Next, though, we have it from the show, firing some beam weapons. It didn't have glows in the show. Just a little disclaimer, those were added, or at least many of the shots. But then the last picture is the miniature picture. This one does have glows, but it's obviously a publicity photo. I like stuff about it, I don't dislike it. It just didn't quite realise the potential, and I think a lot is because the alien race, and even the uniqueness of the alien race doesn't come through enough in this. They don't even connect. I mean, I don't think you could say the Cardassian feel like they're galore. I mean, it's the symbol, not the race. I mean, you couldn't really connect the two. They don't. So there is a disconnect there, obviously, but it's such a unique, cool design. This doesn't have that, and it doesn't quite connect. It almost could have done with more higgledy-piggledy, more pieces that were random to fit with the, whatever vibe. Maybe each fin be different colour slightly, as if they just stuck them on or whatever, or have each fin have different weapons attached that were clearly different designs or something. I don't know, something,
Yeah. It's one that it would be interesting to redesign. Kind of take the elements you don't like, enhance them a bit, keep what you do like, and see what, we could come up with. I think that'd be interesting. But, Trekyards redesigns should be a show, because we've talked about it multiple times, what we would change in something, so... I don't know.
Yeah. But we will look at other Kazon ships, the other Kazon ship at some point, as you tune in for that. And if you want to look at other stuff from other shows, and do go back and look at our massive back catalogue of stuff, please do. It's some good stuff. And if you like the good stuff that we make on this channel and support us, please, like the free way is great, but if you can support us financially, that would be amazing, because we do rely on this to pay our bills, to pay our internet, our gas, our electricity, all that stuff. So if you can donate every month to guarantee us making more content that a lot of you just keep watching because you love it. Like, you don't appreciate sometimes that, we need the funds, and some of you do give. And if even more of you can give $5 on Patreon, that'd be a great way. Every month, it makes a difference, and it mounts up.
That's right. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe, share, comment down below. What do you think of the Kazon Raider? And if there's anything you change about it, let us know. But until next time, guys, I'm Captain Foley.
And I'm Connor Jones.
See ya.
Bye, guys.